Welcome back to Explaining Everything, the channel where we dive into the stories and mysteries behind everyday things. Today's quirky question comes from one of our sleepy but brilliant viewers, Snooze King 42. Thanks for the suggestion, Snooze King. You asked, when did alarm clocks get snooze buttons? And honestly, what a question. Because the snooze button is basically modern humanity's favorite form of self-deception. It's the ultimate enabler, a tiny button that whispers, 5 more minutes won't hurt, while reality screams, you're already late. Get comfy, but not too comfy. You will fall asleep because we're about to dig into the surprisingly hilarious story of how the snooze button was born. Right here on Explaining Everything. Before the snooze button existed, people had one wake-up call, and it was called Get Up or Lose Your Job. In the 1800s, alarm clocks were mechanical devices that looked like something between a torture device and a steampunk music box. They didn't have buttons. They didn't have mercy. They just rang loudly. And if you didn't own one, well, hopefully, you had a rooster, or a church bell, or some grumpy neighbor banging pots to remind you it was Tuesday. Back then, the idea of choosing to sleep longer was almost laughable. You woke up when the bell rang, or when the rooster screamed. That was it. You didn't get a second chance. If you slept in, you were either unemployed or a poet. And even poets had better routines than some of us. Fast forward to the 1950s. Everything was booming. Cars, suburbs, television, and apparently the number of people who wanted to sleep just a little longer. Enter General Electric. In 1956, they released the first alarm clock with a snooze button. It was called the Telecron 7H241, and it had a revolutionary feature. A button you could press to delay the alarm for a few more minutes of precious, lazy bliss. And people loved it. Because for the first time in human history, you could actually bargain with your alarm clock. You could say, "Not yet, my metallic overlord." And it would say, "All right, fine, 9 more minutes." It was the start of a slippery slope. One press became 2. 2 presses became a lifestyle. And suddenly, everyone was addicted to those 9 extra minutes that somehow felt like the deepest sleep of your entire night. Now here's the million-dollar question. Why 9 minutes? Why not 10 or 8? Or better yet, just an hour? Well, the answer is kind of hilarious. It's because of gears. Back in the 50s, alarm clocks were mechanical. You couldn't just program them like a smartphone. Engineers had to work with the teeth of gears and physical spacing between parts. Making a snooze interval exactly 10 minutes would have meant redesigning the entire internal layout. 9 minutes, however, was mechanically convenient. The gears lined up just right. It was the lazy option. And honestly, it kind of fits. The snooze button was born from laziness, and its timing was chosen because the engineers didn't want to do extra math. And just like that, 9 minutes became the industry standard. Now it's in our digital clocks, our phones, and our souls. We don't question it. We just press it. Here's where it gets messy. Scientists have actually studied the snooze button, and surprise, it's not doing us any favors. You know that foggy, half-conscious state you're in after hitting snooze? That's called sleep inertia. It's basically your brain saying, wait, are we asleep or awake? Make up your mind. The problem is that when you fall back asleep after hitting snooze, your body tries to start a new sleep cycle. But 9 minutes isn't long enough to finish it. So your brain gets interrupted again and again and again. It's the sleep version of opening a browser tab, closing it, then reopening it 30 seconds later. Some experts recommend eliminating snooze altogether. Just set one alarm and get up immediately. But those people also probably do yoga at 4 a.m. and drink smoothies made from kale and regret. For the rest of us, snoozing is a ritual. It's that tiny window between responsibility and denial. And frankly, it's beautiful. In today's world, we've taken snoozing to absurd levels. There are alarm clocks that roll off your nightstand and force you to chase them. Ones that make you do math problems. Ones that literally fly. There's even an app that donates money to causes you hate every time you snooze. We've basically weaponized waking up. The war on sleep has escalated. And still, we find ways to snooze. There are folks out there with 7 alarms, spaced 3 minutes apart. I know one guy who sets an alarm at 6:00, 6:03, 6:07, 6:09, and 6:10, and doesn't get out of bed until 6:47. At that point, just move your mattress to the office. So when did alarm clocks get snooze buttons? 1956. Why 9 minutes? Because gears are lazy. Why do we keep pressing it? Because we're human and slightly delusional. The snooze button is the perfect invention, simple, comforting, and mildly destructive to your productivity. It's been with us for nearly 70 years, and it's not going anywhere. So the next time your alarm rings and you hit snooze for the 3rd time, don't feel guilty. You're participating in a time-honored tradition of avoiding mornings with grace, dignity, and just a hint of denial. If you enjoy this video, or you've ever hit snooze more times than you'd admit in public, please like and subscribe. Also, if you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for tuning in, and join us next time here in the channel that answers all the why, what, who, where, and how questions you've always wondered about, here on Explaining Everything.